Maybe. Hey, okay. Now everybody heard it. That means it's official. I'm recording it and I will have a replay for anyone who doesn't have their teammates on currently. So I'm super excited about bringing these calls back. My name is Darnell Brunt. If you don't know me, a couple of names on here that are new to me. It's nice to meet you. I'm a Sapphire leader here at Ariel. I have been here since April of 21. I had to really think about that. I was like, oh my God, what year did we open? And I am a lifer through and through. I love this company. I love these products. Travis and Kristen have become some of my like most favorite people in the world. I got to go to their kid's wedding. Like I just adore them and I feel like I'm a part of their family at this point. Um and I had taken a step back from doing these smaller team trainings because I felt like maybe it was too much, but I feel like now is the time that we're going to have crazy growth. This year is going to explode. We are all going to explode our businesses. I've already claimed it. This, we will be on one of these calls. I'm telling you, there's 9 people on right now. We're going to 10x that before the end of the year. We're going to have these Tuesday night calls and there's going to be 100 of us on here. I've already claimed it for us. Oh, there we go. We got another one that was just popping on, but now she's gone again. But like I'm saying, we're going to 10x this. We're going to take this company straight to the top. This is the year that we need to grow Ariel. We want Ariel to be a household name. We have to grow this company, y'all. We are such a tiny little baby company, right? And I am here for the long haul. If I was ever to not do network marketing, I promise it would be because I am deleting social media and I am going to live on an island somewhere. And like that would be it. Like I'm never leaving this company and going somewhere else. I don't do that shit. I'm very loyal, very, 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 very loyal. So I will always be here. Tuesday nights, though, we're going to do these smaller team calls. I have partnered up with Megan Carter, with Lissy Diaz, and with Lori. Lori is not on, but she can't be on the first two Tuesdays of the month, so I knew that. No, I don't want to live on an island. I'd have to like hunt and stuff. I'm way too bougie for an island. So anyways, we've teamed up together because look, y'all, it can be a lot to lead people. It can be a lot to host calls every week. It can be a lot to just be able to come up with trainings every single week. And that's how you experience burnout. And I'm not about burnout. I'm not about anybody burning themselves out here. I'm about everybody thriving and living their highest and best here. And if you constantly feel like you never have time to take a break and you're always hustling, you're going to burn out. I've done it. Hi, I did it. I've been there. I really took a step back for almost like the last year, I'd say. I really was just like, this is too much. I am overwhelmed and I can't do this anymore. So this time around, I have reached out to other leaders in the company. We are not, some of us are sidelined, some of us are not. But I think that it is an amazing thing to be able to get together once a week and bring knowledge from everybody's team. And you're not going to hear from me every week. One week is my week, one week is Lissy's, one week is Megan's, one week is Lori's. And on those weeks, one week I might have Kim host because she's on my team. And Kim is like the organization queen over there and always has she's got a document for everything, I swear. And I love it so much. So maybe one week she will teach on something like that. But I feel like this is a really great way to if you're new in the company and you don't really know how to be a leader, this is a great way for you to learn how to be a leader. This is where we're going to lift you up and we're going to teach you all the things that we've been taught by Darylyn, by Kayla, by all the other leaders that we've ever been led by in this industry. And we're hoping to build your confidence enough that you can host your own team trainings, that you can build yourself, $1 million a month team. That's the point. We all want to be mogul. I don't know about you, but I didn't come to this company just to hang out as a Ruby. Like, that's not why I came here. No offense. Like, I came here to be a mogul. I came here to change my life and to be able to help others change their lives too, right? And I think that you're all here for the same exact reason. I have made the best of friends because of this company, but at the end of the day, we all came here because we wanted to make money. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. The bottom line is you need to be able to be a good leader and you need to be able to learn from the people above you and know when to take constructive criticism and know when to really pour into yourself so you can heal and grow, right? That's what makes amazing leaders here. And I will help you become the best leader that you can possibly be. And the best part is that all of you are going to help me become a better leader as well. That's like the whole give and take of these small little trainings, right? So tonight I wanted to kind of chat about, I've been doing business coaching with, her name is Tiffany Carter. I have a thing with the last name Carter, or I have a thing with the name Carter, period. My son's name is Carter. The Carters came into the company. I was like, ooh, their last name is Carter. I already like them. And then they did an amazing 8-week training for our team. And I fell even more in love with them. So this woman, her name is Tiffany Carter, and I love her too. She's super like all over the place. She's got a lot of trauma. She's been through a lot of things, but she has done over $250 million in online like sales. So I wanted to take some of her coaching. And I was like, you know what? Everything that I learned, I'm going to teach you guys. And I have been learning so much from her. So every Friday, she does a call that I get on and I listen to. And I just went back and re-listened to this last Friday and took a ton of notes. And I wanted to share some of these things with you because it really made me like, oh, wow, holy moly. So this week's topics were the 3 things to invest your time, money, and energy in this business. And I was like, ooh, okay. Because I don't have a lot of extra time. I'm a busy mom. My kids play competitive sports. My husband and I own an insurance agency, which we are currently expanding. Like, we don't stop. I don't have a lot of extra time. So how can I make this time work for me? Right? Like the small time that I do have to give to Ariel, how can I make that work for me? Right. And it all comes down to, basically, she gave us 4 things that it comes down to. Number 1 thing is messaging. Messaging is it's your bloodline. It's your lifeline. It's what's going to make you a millionaire. At the end of the day, you've heard Darylyn say over and over again, like millionaires are made in the messenger, and she ain't lying about it. But the thing is you can't be spammy pammy, right? We can't just like send this generic text message to every single friend that you have in your Facebook like downline. I mean, you can. It's probably not going to go very well for you though, right? You have to really, you want to create compelling messages that hit people's pain points and are genuine and allow you to create a really deep connection with these people. Okay. Like, if somebody's following you, they're following you for a reason. If you're putting yourself out there and you're really like giving people a glimpse into your life, they're following you for a reason. I know that people are following me because I say whatever I want, and ain't nobody gonna stop me from saying the things. I'm not afraid to be loud, right? I'm not afraid to be like, no, you're not gonna tolerate that nonsense, right? I feel like people know what they're gonna get when they come to my page, right? And in order to really succeed here, we have to have these genuine connections with people. So basically, it was funny. She basically told us a lot of the same things, like engage with people who are engaging in your stories. You don't need to cold message people. She's super anti-cold messaging, as am I, right? But I think like really I think the cool part about this training, and I'm going to say this now and I'm going to come back to it at the end. But she gave us this way to find your people's pain points, right? Your ideal client's pain points. She wanted us to write an if only statement. I was like, what does that mean? So, if only. Now think about it. I want you guys to be thinking about it as I talk about the other couple of points that she had. But this is about your ideal client, about yourself, okay? Like what maybe about you. Yeah. You don't want to, what's holding you back from doing something, right? So if only I could blank, then I would blank, right? If only I had blank, then I would blank. Okay, so like, this one's for instance, if someone just told me where to start and what to do, then I'd do it. Simple as that, right? And I think that might be a lot of reason that people don't want to join online and network marketing because they just don't know where to start. And if somebody just told them where to start and what to do, then they do it. Simple as that, right? So what is your ideal client? Like, what is the if only statement? So this is the one that I kind of came up with. Actually, let me tell you what I came up with. Let me go back to my chat GPT because, you know, my chat GPT is my best friend. Her name is Sage. Her and I get along really, really well. If you haven't named your chat GPT yet, I highly encourage you to do that because in case the robots take over one day, we want to be on their good side. Let's be kind to the robots, right? Like Charlie the chat. I love that. I love that. I asked mine what she wanted to be named, and she was like, well, based on the things that you asked me, I think these 3 names would be good. And Sage was the only one that stood out. And I'm like, okay, Sage, you're my girl now, right? All right. So I asked her to kind of give me, I was having a hard time writing this if only statement. So I wrote, I'm trying to figure out what my ideal client's if only statement would be. And then she said, an if only statement captures the core frustration or desire of your ideal client, the thing they feel is holding them back from achieving their goals, right? For your audience, and this is what she said, busy moms seeking balance and confidence, it might focus on overcoming overwhelm, finding joy, or creating financial security. Here's a template I helped her refine your if only statement. And then she gave me 3 or 4 bullet points. And I told her the last 3 really hit home. Can you combine them for me? And she said, sure, of course I can, because I'm awesome. My name is Sage. And she said, if only I could manage my stress, feel confident, and earn extra income without sacrificing family time, then I could finally create the life I've always dreamed of without constant worry. And I was like, ooh, okay. And then I said, well, can you take that if only statement and turn it into an I help statement, right? And this is, sometimes I feel like, you know, my audience changes of who I'm trying to help kind of based on like where I'm at in life sometimes, right? Because the person that I was when I started Ariel, I'm not that same person anymore, like at all. I'm a completely different human because of these products, this company, this community, everything else. However, it doesn't mean that I don't want to cater to these people anymore, but I've leveled up. So now I'm like, oh, I kind of want to deal with people that are on this level. I don't want to deal with the people who are so broken anymore because I used to be super, super broken, like big time. And now I'm a little healed. I'm not going to, you're never done healing, right? But now I'm more healed. So now I want to be connecting with people who are on their healing journey and have walked in it a little bit. I want to connect with people who aren't so broken because I'm not a therapist and they're not paying me for my time. So I just, you know, you have to know when you're leveling up, you have to level up like who you're trying to connect with as well. So my I help statement became, I help busy moms manage stress, build confidence, and earn extra income without sacrificing family time so they can create the future they've always dreamed of. And I was like, okay. So I want you to think about your if only statement. And then I'm sure a lot of you know who you help already, but maybe it's changed for you. Maybe things are a little bit different now. Like mine changes all the time. My why has changed a bunch too over the years. So maybe this will just like kind of help you figure that out, right? So one of the other things that she said to invest your time, money, and energy in is she said, get better and learn how to create profitable content. Focus on 2 styles and become a know-it-all. We want to create content that compels people, empowering people to take actions that are going to better their life in some way. And, you know, like that's the truth. I think that like right now, I'm focusing a lot on TikTok. I don't need to focus on Facebook anymore. I know how to do Facebook. I'm really good at Facebook at this point. I don't even really have to think about it anymore. But as much as I put out content on TikTok, I am not making content that's converting the way that I want it to. So I really need to become a know-it-all. I really need to become somebody who knows all the tips and tricks about TikTok, somebody who's understanding like the algorithm, somebody who's really like making the content convert. That's all that Dee and Kayla are talking about right now, you guys. If we are not following their daily content tasks, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You're shooting yourself in the foot and you're slowing your own growth, right? They literally give you a task every single day. Maybe you don't have results yet. Like today's task was a testimony Tuesday. Maybe you don't have a ton of weight that you've lost. Maybe all of your transformations are mental. Hi, I'm a mental patient here. So all of my transformations have really been mental. I have had physical changes too, but somebody who is really on a real weight loss journey, right? They're not going to want to come to me. They're going to be like, you're already tiny. Like, you don't know what it's like to walk in my shoes. Right. So you just have to like kind of know your audience a little bit, right? I'm in the mental game here, but it doesn't mean that I can't show somebody else's testimonies. It doesn't mean that I can't go into the app and pull up pictures of other people's testimonies and all these amazing things that we've seen. It doesn't mean that I can't describe how I used to feel and how I feel now. Maybe find a video of yourself from 4 years ago and then find a video of yourself now. I guarantee there's going to be changes. There's going to be changes. If you've been with this company for more than 6 months, you have changes, period. I don't care what anybody says. If you have been on the products for 6 months, you have had some sort of physical, emotional, mental healing and change go on. Somebody tell me that I'm wrong, I'll fight you back because I'm not. I'm just kidding. I won't fight anybody. I don't have it in me, but I'm not wrong, right? I mean, it's the truth. We all know we've come and we feel better. So we just need to really learn how to create that content that converts. Okay. The third thing she said is learn to sell in a way that feels good to you and your ideal client. I want you to think about and maybe put in the comments, what is like one thing you see about other people who are doing marketing online that you hate? Like, what is the biggest turnoff like that they're doing? Like, you see their video and you're like, absolutely not. I'm never going to buy from you. I hate the way you're doing this. Like, what is like this like ick thing? Like for me, I'll say like, I really hate those. I call them like the guerrilla marketers where they're like screaming at you that you have to do it. You have to do this now. It's going away in like 24 hours. If you don't pull the trigger now, it's not going to be there anymore. But you know, it's probably going to be there in 72 hours. Like still, I don't like people trying to push things like down my throat, right? Like aggressively. That's a real turnoff for me. Kim said a cold approach. I also hate cold messages. Like, girl, we've been having a conversation and you're going to ask me to join your team. You're crazy. You're crazy, like never doing it. And I come back and I tell them that. Team Carter, when someone shows up in every video with complete hair and makeup, yes. 100% yes, because that's not real life. That is not real life. You have to show the good, the bad, and the ugly here. That's just it. You have to get uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, or you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's really what it comes down to. Can I advertise on your timeline? I cannot relate. I cannot relate either. I totally agree with you. And you know what? The funny thing is once you kind of like put it out there and you put it down on some paper and you realize the things that really turn you off about other marketers, you're not going to do it anymore. Once you really pinpoint what drives you crazy about them, you're going to make sure that you don't do it. You're going to make sure that you're not doing like that stuff, right? You're going to be like, ooh, I don't want to be that person. I'm not doing that, right? And then you can kind of figure out what you do want to do though. What doesn't seem gross to you? Like what kind of marketing do you like? And go with that approach. Take that daily content idea, but go with your approach, right? And then the last thing that they said, the last thing that she said, and she's like, you will not be able to do 1, 2, or 3 if your money mindset is in the toilet. Okay. We have to work on money blocks and to be able to do any of the other things. Because if you have a money block, it's going to stop you from doing any of these things. It's going to stop you from sending the messages. It's going to convince you that you're not worthy of it. We have got to break money blocks. I'm totally guilty of this. I grew up in a household where that's too expensive was always coming out of my parents' mouths, or I can't afford that. Like, I can't believe you would ask me for that. Like things like that. So now as an adult, I realized that like I was doing it to my kids. When my kids were like, Mom, can I get this? And I'm like, I'm not gonna spend $20 on that. And even if I don't want to spend the $20 on it because it's a stupid thing, like it means something to them and I can spend the $20 on it. But I'm so trained to say that stuff because that's what was said to me. And it's like, oh no, you kind of gotta like, you kind of gotta switch. We have to switch that. We have to switch that thinking. That is not, it's causing us to have all these blocks, right? Maybe you're telling yourself that you aren't a good leader and that you are never gonna be able to have a team. Well, you're literally creating a block for yourself right there. Because you know what? We are all capable of being good leaders. You want to know why? Because we're women. Sorry, Casey, if you're on there with Megan, but most women are on here right now, and we're all mothers, and mothers are leaders. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Pardon my mouth. But if you're, I'm pretty sure every single one of us on here are a mother, and we are all leaders because of that. We are constantly leading people. We are constantly teaching people how to do better and be better. You can be a mother to your team. You don't have to handhold. You don't have to handhold. Being a leader and being a mother are obviously a little bit different, but we all know how to be a leader. So don't stand in your own way and act like you don't, because you do. You do. Maybe you don't know the ins and outs of the business yet. Maybe you don't know everything, but you know how you learn all that? You show up to these things. You show up to the calls. You show up to the Monday night call. You show up to our Tuesday night call. You show up on Thursday night and you invite your timeline to come. You invite your friends to come to Thursday night and you let them learn from the CEO. You guys, I literally, for somebody who loved Mary Jane and loved to hang out in her garden as much as I did, when I came to this company, I didn't know squat about hemp. I didn't know anything about CBD. I really had not a clue. I just thought it was fake weed. And that's like the furthest thing from the truth. But you know how I learned about all of this? By listening. Travis and Kristen talk a lot. Some nights they get really sciencey. Some nights Kristen like really breaks it down. You're like, whoa, oh, I didn't know any of that, right? Like I didn't know so many things. I didn't know that mushrooms could do all these things that they do. But look, it's all, we're all taking mushrooms. Everybody's happy. Everybody's thriving. Everybody's doing good, right? But I was just like, I only like thought mushrooms were like either the white button and portobellos that I ate and like the shiitake ones is like, you know, I knew of like mushrooms that you just like cook with and eat or like trippy ones. I didn't realize there was another level. I didn't realize like how good they were for you until I started learning from other people here. You don't have to know everything to be a good leader, right? So let's come back to the if only statements. If anybody wants to put in the comments what their if only is, I would love to hear it. And I would love to, you know, share it obviously with everybody else if you don't mind sharing with everybody else. But I just think that, you know, the if only, those are the people we need to talk to. Those are the people we need to hit those pain points, right? And then working on that I help statement. And also all these things, the messaging, the messaging and hitting the pain points and really making these deep connections. It's not just going to be in private messages with people either. That needs to also be on your video content, in the way you post, in your captions. If you have a podcast, in your podcast, on your YouTube, like you want to be genuine and make these deep connections with people. So you have to be vulnerable. You have to tell people where you've come from. You have to like share your walk a little bit. Because you know what, like I'm going to trust somebody more that tells me like, hey, I'm somebody that used to scream and yell at my kids all the time. And I used to have a breakdown probably 3 times a week. And I would get so overwhelmed that I would just drink to make it all stop. Hi, that's what I did. I did all those things. Like that was me. That was who I was. And you know what? Someone's going to resonate with that more than I'm an overwhelmed mom. You want to hang out with me? Like, bitch, we're all overwhelmed moms. Like, come on, everybody's overwhelmed. What are you talking about? That's not really relatable. You have to get relatable with people, right? And I think that's like really, and on all levels. So whatever 2 places you're going to try to focus, really try to make those connections with people, right? Like, you know, this is what ChatGPT said. I love that. If only someone had told you that you didn't have to lose yourself in the chaos of motherhood, that you could still feel alive, inspired, and you wouldn't everything feel a little lighter. It's not too late to reclaim that spark, and I'm here to show you how. That's really, really good. Night, Becca. Love you. Have a good night. I really like that. That you didn't have to lose yourself in the chaos of motherhood. Man alive, do we? And just you saying that I feel like hits all of us differently because we've all lost ourselves in the chaos of motherhood, because there is no manual on how to be a parent, on how to be a good one at that, right? Like, and in the beginning, you were just so desperately trying to keep that little tiny thing alive that nothing else matters. And before you know it, it's been 7 years and you haven't, gotten a massage in 7 years, and you haven't had your hair done in 3, and you probably haven't brushed your teeth in 2 days. Like, it just, we get it. But all those things that I just said, you all felt that because you've all been there, right? And that's that deep connection that we need to make with our audience, and that we really need to focus on in these next, just always, not even in the next, always, is making these deep connections. If you want to become a millionaire, these are the steps. These are the steps. Really get very deep connections, very personal with who you are and what you're trying to do and who you're trying to help. Get better and learn how to create profitable content that converts, right? You need content that converts, and you want to learn how to sell in a way that feels good to you and your ideal client, and make sure that you're working on those money blocks. And that's all I got for tonight, friends. And I kept that in a half hour. I'm super proud of myself, because usually I word vomit and diarrhea of the mouth and just say too much. So I'm really proud of myself for not going over. And I am so thankful that you all popped on and you were here. This was really, really good. Work on that if only statement. If you need some help, reach out to your leader. Reach out to your leader, ask them, reach out to me. I'm always here to help. Thanks, Casey. Appreciate you. Praying for you guys. I can't wait to meet you in real life too. And there's so many of you I've never met in real life, which is crazy to me. And hopefully I'll get to meet some of you in a couple of weeks. I'm so stoked. Next week, I don't remember who was next week. We made a schedule. Someone is next week. Either way, it's going to be amazing. So we're going to end this meeting. If anybody is new and wants to do a launch call, I'm going to pop back on after I end this, and I will do launch calls for anybody that is new, if anybody needs one. So I love you all. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next Tuesday. Go rock your business.